All right, all right. Shalom, shalom. I like to start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, or Hadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that's scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwath that's listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson is edifying. It's the brother Shawab Amawan back at you with another lesson. And what I want to get into, all right, it's locked here, is you see the title, okay? Pseudoscience, the idea of scratching on the surface, all right, which basically goes back to, that Rice Krispy treat. And the inspiration comes from, I was just watching a movie earlier. I ain't even gonna mention or anything like that, but I will show you the clip that I have of it, all right? And it's a good movie, so definitely watch. It don't have nothing to do with pseudoscience or anything like that. It's just a good movie, period. If you know it, you know it. If not, maybe I'll mention it. I don't really want to mention it because these damn devils will give you a, you already know. All right, but with that being said, I'm going to show you it. And just listen to what he's saying, because this really had nothing to do with the movie. All right. But he was a science teacher in the movie. So he brings up a point that when I heard it, I'm like, oh man, it just made me think of the Charagma right off the rip, and you got to remember that movies at the end of the day, all right, movies, especially movies, is all predictive programming. Every movie that you watch, whether it be something good or whether it's the corniest movie you've ever seen, there's always something that's put in the movie to tell you something of the future, or there's always something in the movie that's told, all right, that's predicting predictive programming, basically. All right, so listen to this part. You might not be able to see it because when I put it to here, you're gonna see a glare, but just listen.
Before I take the role, I'd like to make a point. It's not important who or what party is. The point I'd like to make is anyone here can be a scientist. A scientist is like a detective. He investigates data he doesn't understand by scratching the surface so he can see what's underneath.
So he said, anybody here, just in case you couldn't hear it, he said, anybody here can be a scientist. All right. Let me grab it word for word.
He investigates data he doesn't understand.
He said, anybody here can be a scientist. He said, a scientist is someone that investigates, okay? Investigates.
By scratching the surface so you can see what's underneath.
Hold on.
The surface. A scientist is like a detective.
He said a scientist is like a detective. He investigates.
He investigates data he doesn't understand.
He investigates data that he does not understand. And then by the idea of scratching on the surface, okay?
By scratching the surface so he can see what's underneath.
So he can see what's underneath, okay? And all right, we know that Esau, all right, these top banking families, right? They're all about science. So he is like a detective, all right? He is constantly watching us, All right. As a matter of fact, the scriptures say, let me see that. Hold on real quick. He makes a diligent search. Okay. This is Psalms. Salakia. This is Psalms 64 and 6. It says, they search out iniquities. Okay. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. Okay. Their mind are very cunning. Okay. Remember, this devil's a cunning hunter. So they're constantly always making a diligent search on Jake. All right. And it's always been like that since the beginning of time, man. They always wanted to tap in to Jake's mind. They always wanted to tap in to our thoughts, you see? And ultimately, you really want to tap in coming in with this Rice Krispie treat. They want to be able to tap into your your level of faith, all right? To tap in to see what a man of the Lord's mind is like, okay? So they make that diligent search on a daily basis, all right? And they do it because it's in the power of their hand, okay? This is Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. You see? Let's go to Proverbs 4:16. And it says, for they sleep not except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. Okay, but the path of the just is as the shining light that shineth more and more unto that perfect day. All right. So again, Esau's all about his science. All right. Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah is now to know his thoughts. And by him actually saying that, okay, he said that a scientist is someone that investigates data that he cannot understand. Okay. That's why, science is nonsense. You see, and our people love to follow after that science that Esau gives you, thinking that he has the answer to everything. And that's just him playing the role of trying to be the most high, trying to be Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But in all reality, all they are is just hypothesis. You see, what is a hypothesis? A hypothesis is an educated guess of things, you see, not sure, but they're still trying to find the answer. And here it is, all these years, all these generations, this devil and his science, all right, he swears he got an answer for you through his scientific methods and his scientific answer. But here it is, you're still looking for the answer. Here it is, you're still making that diligent search. Now, has his science and has advanced? Yes, because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai gave him that intelligence to be able to create what's about to pop off. You see, because it's a snare that Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai has made, okay, for the people to see if you would bow down to this devil as your God, or you will bow down to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You see, so it really ain't of him that made the technology, okay? It's Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that has made that technology, okay? And it's because it was all prophecy. So the Lord had to come up somehow with the prophecy, to be played out, all right? And he has increased his knowledge. We're in the time of information. We're in the time that, that knowledge is increased both on the left hand side and on the right hand side. But mostly it's all being programmed because the right hand side is the one that's really going, which is, Yahweh and his men, his elect. Okay. He is going to have the true knowledge. Okay. So he has increased it also for us to understand these things and for us to get the truth, you see. So he had to also give the intelligence to Esau for us to figure it out, man. So we can read between the lines. Okay. So he said he investigates data that he cannot understand, all right, by the idea of scratching on the surface. Remember that, okay? So let's go to Revelations 13 and 16. All right. Matter of fact, let me just grab it from 14. And it says, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. All right. And those miracles goes into the technologies and this devil's pseudoscience. You see, let's see what pseudoscience is. All right. The definition of pseudoscience. All right. This is pseudoscience, a collection of beliefs or practices. Then we just read that in Micah 2, right? And 1. He does these things, right? And then we got police all up in here today. Salakia. It says, let's grab that again. All right, in Micah 2 and 1. And it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it. You see, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand. Okay, pseudoscience, a collection of beliefs or practices mistakenly. All right, going back to what he just said. All right, in the movie, he said they investigate. Okay, they investigate data, not understanding it. You see, mistakenly regarded as being based on scientific method. Okay, that's what this devil's about. And what he's going to snare the world with, the whole entire world, is going to be a scientific method that he's been practicing for years. This is why that's why he had to start off with basically damn, they looking for somebody heavy. They went that way, they went that way, they went behind me. So, you know, they started with what? They started with pets, you know. Pretty much that's what this devil does. He does everything with pets first, all right? Because if he could get it on the pets, all right, if he could get it on beasts, you know, he pretty much takes cattle, you know, just animals in general, you know, he studies them first, all right, and then he'll give them those Rice Krispie treats, you know, to track them, to track their every move, all right? And the Lord basically at one point called us beasts. You see, I believe that's in 73 Psalms, when Asaph had lost his footing almost. Let me grab that real quick. This is Psalms 73. I could be wrong. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's not in here. But there's I forgot where it's at. All right, but I don't want to lose my train of thought. So basically, that the scripture that I'm talking about, it talks about how we were basically, the Lord looked at us like beasts. You see, because we were like animals. You know, we go off, you know, so wickedly. It's like we're literally animals out here. So this devil looks at us like animals also. You see, that's why at one point he had the thought of going from the actual animal itself to going to use this science, this technology, okay, on man, because we are as beasts in the field. You see, we just you see how Jake get, man. When Jake is a, when they cut them benefits off, watch how Jake starts acting like a whole entire animal, man. Okay. And something I was meditating on real heavy just before I did this video that was really making sense in my mind, you know. Here it is that they're gradually drawing you to this, right? They give you that gradualism to make you think that these things are normal. All right. But what I've been realizing is, see how this digital ID basically has come out worldwide, but it's not fully in America yet. Everything always happens in these other countries first, you see, because Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai is going to destroy America last. He's saving the best for last, you see. So this devil, all right, might very well, yeah, he's gonna bring, there they go again. He's gonna bring digital IDs out here, all right? But it's not gonna be a mandatory thing, I feel, like he's doing it worldwide, because that Rice Krispie treat is gonna come from America, and then it's gonna try the rest of the world. So they already gradually putting it in your mind by you seeing what's going on the social media on the outskirts in these other countries, okay? And like I said, he's gonna bring it over here because they just did it in I think it was Utah. All right, they just confirmed that they're gonna deal with digital IDs. There's been a couple of certain spots that are dealing with it, you know, places that are like in the boondocks. They're always gonna start in these places like in the boondocks where nobody fucking lives, where nobody hears about it, you know. They'll attack those places, but in all reality, all right, they're gonna do it because they're about to starve you with the snap. All right, and their job is basically to starve you, okay, so you can beg to them and go to them for the want of all things. All right, and that's, once he gets you in that mentality, he got you right where he wants. The time, because they already got the mindset of the people thinking, oh, this is it, this is you're not going to be able to eat, you're not going to be able to drink if you don't have this. But then he can just come and tell you, you know what, you guys don't have to take this digital ID. All right, I got something better, because you're already in a frenzy. You see, you're already in your mindset of, damn, yo, I haven't ate, I'm starving, you know, I can't afford this food. See, he's already gaining the trust, okay, of the people to trust in the government. So the digital ID is happening worldwide on the outskirts in these different countries. The water Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Rakata Yahweh, Rakata Yahweh Shai, Bubble Control, Bubble Control, Bubble Control. I rebuke anything trying to stop this live feed. The water, the water, the water, the Yah, the water. So you have to understand, all right, this devil, all right, is going to try to, you know, brainwash. He gonna psychedelically mess everybody's minds up. This is what this devil's about, you see. So, like I said, he probably will not bring that digital ID like it's happening worldwide over here, because that Rice Krispie tree is going to come straight from America, and then it's going to try the rest of the world, which the rest of the world is going to be easier to just gain the trust because they already think it's normal through gradualism, you know, with the digital ID, okay? And that's why, you know, eventually the rest of the world will end up hating, all right, America. The beast is going to hate the whore, you know, and we know his tensions rising up through war and things like that. But remember, the biggest thing that he's going to make these other countries hate America is because when they usher in that Rice Krispie treat, you know what I'm saying? Then the rest of the world is going to be tried, because it's going to come directly from America, from, you already know, out there, okay? The 1948ers, okay? And the 1948ers are the ones that's running America, basically, you see? So it was something I was meditating on very heavy, you know? It would just only make sense. It would just make sense to bring it in like that, because everybody's so worried about this digital ID, and they're actually in the mindset thinking, okay, that is you already know, the MARK, all right? And it's not, Okay, it's gonna be a physical thing. All right, implication in the skin. All right, so keep that in mind, man. Remember, then thou shalt know that there was a prophet among you, because the Lord reveals the secrets unto the servants, the prophets, man, through the Spirit. You know, we're able to judge these things and read it through the Spirit. You see? So let's go back, okay, to Revelations 13 and 14. And he deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles, going into those technologies, right, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, all right, saying them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image, okay, and we already know what that image is going to be, okay, it's going to be that digital Messiah. They're bringing in that N, you already know, N to the W to the O, okay? So it's going to require a new type of classification of gods, okay? And that new God is going to be that digital pseudo science, all right, Messiah, all right? It says, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the BEAST, right, which had the wound by a sword and did live, all right, and we understand that goes back to the Roman Empire, and then he came back as the revival of the ancient Roman Empire, okay, and during the Renaissance time all the way to here, which Renaissance means rebirth, right? And it says, and he had power to give life onto the image of the BEAST, okay, that the image of the BEAST should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the, you already know, should be killed. You see? So if this is why you're going to be excluded, all right, from society. All right, that's why the Lord is going to have us as pilgrims upon the earth, man. Constantly, you know, wandering, constantly on the go, not having time to sit your ass down and relax, you see, because these devils is looking for those, the ones that comply, he already got them in the trick bag. But the ones that are not complying, the ones that he wants to get after the most, because he knows that the ones that don't comply are most likely of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, they are of that elect, you see. And that's why when we come out here and we teach and we tell you not to take this, okay, he's cutting off our videos, you know, he's terminating brothers' channels. Why? Because that truth is getting out. We are literally opening the minds of our people and their growing brains. This devil don't want you to attempt to even grow a brain. He wants you to stay mentally enslaved, you see, so he can feed you, all right, his hypothesis, okay, his pseudoscience, okay? So it says, and he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, okay, which that's going to be the whole world, you see? Everybody's going to be tried. Every single one of them, okay, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, okay, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the BEAST or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that has understanding count the number of the BEAST, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. You see, going into that 666. Now, point of the video, all right, the idea of scratching. Remember what that scientist was, I mean, what that teacher was just saying, right? When you go into the word mark, which we've been through this many, many times, okay, but there's always someone new being brought into the fold through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai that needs to learn, okay? So when you go into that word mark, okay, that's English, but the root word, okay, the root word of that English word, okay, the real word, because it was written originally in Greek, you see, so you have to go back into Greek and the word etymology of things to understand these things, man. what it's really saying. So the M-A-R-K goes into karagma, right?
Strong's G 5480. Charagma.
All right. And that means a stamp or an imprint, M-A-R-K, imprinted, Salakia, imprinted M-A-R-K. Okay. And when you imprint something, you're putting it in. You're stamping it. Okay. Boom. You're stamping it because they're going to stamp you. All right. Like if your ass is a product of their society, you see, to show that they own you. Okay. It says of a M-A-R-K stamped on the forehead or on the right hand as the badge of the followers of the anti-Hamashiach. You see, so them stamping you with that is going to show you that you are an anti-Hamashiach. You're against Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. You see, and this is why the Lord is separating the sheep from the goats. You see, the sheep being that 1/3. All right, the elect that's going to be chosen. All right, and the sheeps, and the goats being the rest of these damn devils out here, man. You see, that are against Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. It says the M-A-R-K branded upon horses. All right, they always use branding on animals, on horses. All right, you had slave masters in the ancient time. They branded their horses so people knew that's his horse. Okay, same thing with the people today. He gonna brand you to show, because there's gonna be different types of Rice Krispie treats. You know, you might be one that's owned by the Rothschilds. You might be one that's owned by the Bilderbergs. You might be one that's owned by Google. One owned by iPhone. I mean, not iPhone. Apple. All right, that's how these devils is gonna come with it. Now listen to this. This is the point of the whole video, all right? Remember what he said in the movie, okay? The idea of scratching on the surface. It says, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images, okay? Which is going to be that digital Messiah, okay? Now, when you go into that word, matter of fact, before I go into the other word, let me read the Strong's definitions. It says, karagma, from the same, okay, of karax, which is G5482, okay, but we'll get into that part in a second. But then after that, it says a scratch or etching, okay, a scratch or etching. Example, stamp as a badge of servitude. That's what it's going to be, a badge of servitude, you see? Now let's go into that word. Remember these words, scratch or etching. Now you go into the root word of karagma, which goes into karax, all right? And it says a pale or stake, a palisade, right? Which a stake is what is going to be used to put this into your body, to implement it into your skin, okay? A physical thing, you see? And if you look at it, it's a stake, is a certain type of needle that goes, it drives into your skin, all right, and then they push and release, okay? So what do you do when you have an actual stake? Okay, let's take for example Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She always had to have a stake of wood to drive it in, okay, into them vampires, okay? So that's the same thing that's going to happen with us. All right. Or if you take a stake for something outside to hold something down from blowing from the wind, you have to grab a stake, okay, and drive it into the ground so it can stay. You see? So it says a pale or a stake or a palisade, right? But that says right here, the root word etymology of karax from karaso, to sharpen to a point, okay, through the idea of scratching. Ooh. Try to tell you, these movies will tell you shit, man. Okay, so through the idea of scratching, these scientists of today, okay, with their technology, okay, with their data of no understanding, all right, they're gonna try it on you, which they already know is going to work because they tried it on animals. But they had the idea of scratching into, okay, into your actual physical hand, okay? So it says, when you go to the Strong's definitions, down more, it says, Carax from carasso, to sharpen to a point through the idea of scratching. Yeah, the idea of scratching on the surface, okay, of your actual hand, okay? And then it also goes into, it says a military mound, okay, in a siege, basically, which is a trench, all right? And that's what's going to happen. Your hand is almost going to be like a trench, because once they put it in, okay, a trench is, this is how the floor goes, right? This is how the ground goes, and then it goes down and it goes in like this. And the soldiers would jump into that trench to stay low for cover, you know. So when bullets were flying on the surface, okay, they were passing right by them because they were in that trench. So think of your hand as being that trench, okay? They're gonna cut through the surface of your skin. The idea of scratching through the surface of the skin, and then they're gonna implement it inside as like if it was a trench, you see? So, continuing on, from Carax, it goes to Carasso, which Carasso will go to basically Grapho, okay? Which means to what? All right? To, used of those things, what I wanted, down one. To write to one example by writing in written epistles to give information and directions. Yeah, you're going to be able to what? Transfer, okay, information from one to another. You see? That's to give that information. Directions, it says also, you're going to be tracked. You're going to be like a GPS. Okay, this is why they're not going to need phones no more. You are going to be the phone. You are going to be the supercomputer. Okay, and where you're going to be connected to is building 666. Okay, which is the number of a man, like we just read. All right, when you go into building 666, look it up for yourself, which I did a video on it a while years ago. All right, Lord willing, I could do another video on it, to brush up on that. You see, they have out there, I believe it's in somewhere in Sweden, okay, or what's that other place? I believe it was somewhere by Sweden. Right, let me see real quick. There's a whole building called Building 666, and basically what it is it's a big ass building where all your information that you've had all your life in your emails and your phones, your smartphones, even your old ass phones that you had to put your information in. Okay, when phones first started coming out, all that information has been going all your life, all your pictures, your videos, everything you have taken away. Okay, you think is being stored in the clouds, it's being stored in building 666. Okay, they have every piece of information ever sent to your phone in this building, because this building is basically a building full of it's like the domain. Computers have a domain. Computers, you have your actual physical computer, but what is running that computer? How is that information transferred? It has to go to another place, so that place that has the main domain of things can transfer to the next one. Okay, it's the main source, basically. That's what building 666 is about. All right, let me see if it comes up. There's one in New York, 666 Fifth Ave, but that's not the one I'm looking for. See, I'm gonna have to go into my old video because it's not coming up. Let's try this. European building 666.
Buildings frequently mentioned on the web include
European building 666. Yeah, it's not coming up. Oh, hold on. Yeah, that's where it's at. Woo! It's in Brussels, Belgium, which Belgium I think is right next to Sweden and all that. Anyway, all right, that's where exactly is where it's at. It says it right here. It says the Burley Mount building. The Burley Mount building is an office building in Brussels, Belgium. Okay, which houses the headquarters of the European Commission. All right, hold on, but above it, it says you might not even be able to see it. Yeah, it's probably too. Above it, it's saying something in I guess it's like Swedish or looks like Greek writing, but I know it's not Greek writing. Very, hey, you never know. But it says, is there a building 666 that stores a supercomputer that assigns people? Okay, let's go into that. All right. It says, yeah, see, is there a building? Okay, 666. All right, that stores a supercomputer that assigns people codes. It says on November 15th, a Facebook account, whatever that person's name is, that usually shares anti yo jabba jabba narratives, published a post claiming that a building of the BEAST supercomputer 666 is located at the headquarters of the European Commission in Brussels, where people are working on CHIP ISATION. All right, I ain't even gonna say that word. I need to hear it for my own personal. Hold on. Yeah, it's not even given in the definition, but it says decapping. Nah. Okay. So it says, I'm not gonna say that word because it's got that certain word in it. Okay. Working on CHIP Issation. Okay. So it says the post asserted that the computer stores information about all people and assigns them a unique 18-digit number whose first 3 digits are 666. Attached to the post is a photo of a building. All right, let me take a screenshot of this for my damn self right here, which is the best thing we can do, because when these devils will take it off the internet when we use these things, you know. But it says the post asserted this computer store information about all people and assigns them a unique 18-digit number whose first 3 digits are 666. Attached to the post is a photo of the building with the number 666 on it, which that's what the building looks like. Okay. It says the information that there was a building named 666 in Brussels, which houses a supercomputer and assigns people an 18-digit number, is a conspiracy theory. Bullshit. All right. Because I did research that. That's why I got to find that video and re-upload it. Okay. Because it had a whole bunch of information basically on it. You know, it was being explained. But that was what, 22 possibly, you know, around there, 2023. You got to understand, as we continue to bring out this information, these devils is trying to take away that information. They trying to erase it from history, even as they're trying to erase our history. And these devils are trying to erase their history so we can no longer prove it. Because the scriptures say prove all things, man. So we're going to prove it through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, man. You see? So it says the disseminated photo depicts not the headquarters of the European Commission, but a building in New York. Hey, and who knows? Man, listen. Remember, this damn devil, you know, got to be careful how I say it. But what happened on in 2011? Okay, with the 2 buildings, I ain't even got to say it no more. You see, you should understand it. Okay, when those 2 buildings dropped, there was a reason for that. You see, they had to build new buildings there for a reason, for what was to come. So They probably did have, they definitely got the one in Brussels still, but now they probably got one out here in America, you see, which will have two. That will make sense. You have one on the Western Hemisphere, all right? The Western Hemisphere will be us, all right? And then you have one in the Eastern Hemisphere, okay? Both of those, all right, is able to, you know, with their technology, you know, you get the data from the Western Hemisphere to the ones in New York, and the ones on the other side go to the ones out there in Brussels. You see, that will make sense. So it says, building with the number 666 is located on Fifth Ave in New York City and is not affiliated with the European Commission. Currently, the number of the building has been changed to 660. Why? Why would you change it? You know, if it ain't got nothing to do with nothing and it's just a building, why would you change it? Because the truth is going to come out about it and people get, you know, skeptical in their minds. All right, so it says the building is owned by Brookfield Properties, a real estate company which purchased the building in 2018, okay, on a 99-year lease from the Kushner Company, okay? Here it is. They got all types of pictures of these damn buildings, man. That's the one in New York, but they changed it now to 660. Okay. So it says the building was the building with the address 666 Fifth Ave was built in 1957 and in 2007 was purchased by the Kushner Company for a record 1.8 billion. Okay. Whose president, Jared Kushner, is a real estate developer who served as DT's advisor. Okay. DT the kid. All right. And it will go perfectly in hand today because DT was running the world today. You see, in America. It says offices at 660 Fifth Ave were owned by various companies at various times, including real estate developers, financial law firms, and publishers. Nonetheless, the companies in the building were never associated with high-tech computers and mass storage of information about people. The claim that the supercomputer gives humans an 18-digit code and is related to the sign of the BEAST is a conspiracy theory. Okay. It says the Post also states that everyone will wear a sign on their right hand or their forehead and will not be able to sell unless they have monster brand or name. Quote in the book of Revelations, this assertion and the number 666 are often used by anti-yo jabba jabbers to incite fear among the population. All right. And nah, at the end of the day, it's not a lie, man. This is going to happen right in front of your face. Why? Because the Lord made it prophecy to happen. You see, it says, however, the verses in the book Revelation are, how you say this, allegorical. Hold on, let me bring it out. Allegorical, that's the word. All right, they are allegorical, and connecting them with hips and yo jabba jabbas is misleading. All right, if it's misleading, then why the hell we got that shit out here for? Why are we in the fourth industrial revolution of things where everything is digitalized? You know, it can only make sense that at one point everything's gonna be so digitalized. So how is it that it's a theory? The shit is being played in front of our face. The whole thing about the yo jabba jabba is supposed to be a theory, but why the hell was you trying to make it mandatory and you was giving it out for free when nothing in America is given to you for free? There ain't nothing in the society that's free, but they were giving you that shit for free. They wanted to make sure everybody, a large amount in the population took it. You see, why was it being pushed so hard on people then? If it's such a theory, you know? That's this double lying, as always. All right. It says, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't have nothing else on. All right, but you know what? Let me put this. Let me try this. Uh, I'm going into that one where it says, and this is in Wikipedia, it says the Burle Mont building, all right, which is the one in Brussels, Belgium. Okay. I want to see what it's about. It says the unique form of the Barley's Mounts architecture is used in the European Commission's official emblem. Okay, the building is named after the former convent of Ladies of Berlaymont. Okay, let me see if I see anything worth bringing out. History. Let's see what it says for usage. Okay, the usage. Slucky usage. Yeah, look at this. It says the following directorates, general departments are also based in the Berlaymont. Human resources and security, okay, which they're going to need human resources in there, right, for what's about to happen, and security, okay, because you're going to be tracked. Okay, it says European political strategy center, basically. It says formerly known as Bureau of European Policy Advisors. It says, which is the BEPA. Then you have the COMM, communication. Okay. Brussels Office of Infrastructure and Logistics. Okay. When I believe logistics goes into computers and all that. Logistics. The process of planning,
organizing, and managing the flow of goods, services, and information.
There you go.
Many functions include transportation, warehousing, inventory control, and order fulfillment, ensuring products are in the right place, at the right time, and in the right condition. It's a critical business component.
Yeah, forget about it. Yeah, it's a critical business component, but forget about what she was talking about, everything. Planning and organizing, all right. Here goes Satan. Right? It says the process of planning, organizing, okay, through what? Control, okay? The managing the flow of goods, services, the managing of goods. So you're going to be controlled on your goods between buying and selling. That's the managing of goods, you see? And services and information. Did we not just read what Karax goes into? It goes into Grapho, which goes into be able to control that information and transfer information. So this building is already telling you it's about these things, man. See, they'll just switch up the name because people found out about it, all right? And now they have to come up with a different name, right? It says from the point of origin to the point of consumption, okay? Let's see what else. All right. Oh, they threw me out of it. Yeah, that ain't nothing but she tone. Oh, there we go. We came back to it. Give me 1 second. I just want to see what those key words that they use, man. Something with Esau is you got to know the key words that he uses, man. He'll use all these other fucking words to throw you off, but then there'll be like 2-3 words in there that is the key point of what you needed, you know, and then you look up the word and it brings it back to what we're speaking on, you know. But it says the history, the background. I'm not going to read too much of it. I just want to see if I find anything in there. Construction, expansion, renovation. Look at that. They renovated that shit back in 2020. The Berlaymont area in 2020. Demolition, Salaki. Just bear with me. I'm about to end it anyway. But I'm just trying to see if I find anything in there. Which it doesn't seem like anything's coming up on it. All right. But I promise you that building is real. All right. And it's basically where all your information has been stored since phones basically came out, technology, you know? So let's just finish this back up, all right? In Revelations 13 and 16, all right, going into that word grapho, all right, which came from charagma. Then charagma went to charax, all right, and then goes into the word grapho, all right, and it says to express in written characters, okay, to commit to writing, write down things not to be forgotten, to record. Yeah, because that's what it's really doing. They really want to tap into your memories, man. Like I said earlier in the lesson, they're trying to tap into your memories. So your memories, they come, but you forget them. All right. And then if you remember them later, see, but because this devil wants to play the role of God, all right, he's literally trying to be like that movie Chappie, man, where he can just take your memories and be able to download them into what's the word I'm talking CHIPs basically, but there's another word I wanted it, what are they called? Oh, USBs. What happens when you want to record something, you put it into the computer and you download it into your USB, and then you have that USB to carry wherever you go. All right, that's what this devil wants to do. Just in case you die, all right, he still has a hold of your memories. Go watch that movie Chappie. Okay, so is to write things down, not to be forgotten, to record. All right, he wants to record your every single move. All right, everything you do, how you breathe, how you take a shit, okay, how you sound smashing your woman, all right, how she sound, okay, and if you're quiet, he could pick up everything else around you. Go watch Black Mirror. These are shows and movies that show you what is the future, okay. And then we already brought out, by writing and written epistles to give information and directions. All right. Then it says also to draw up in writing, compose. Yeah, you can compose whatever you want. They can compose any type of information they want to send it to you. You see, it's just like in the movie The Matrix. The Matrix, they plugged Neo up and they were able to, whatever they plugged them up with through computer, they were able to hack into his thoughts and give him what he wanted, information, or he learned how to do something. And that's again what they want to do to us. All right. If they can hack into computers, they're going to hack into your brain, you see, because you are the major computer now, which I did a lesson about a week ago on that also. How our body produces the electromagnetic energy. All right. That's why they want to use that with us, because it goes hand in hand. That's why they were giving you that yo jabba jabba to get that GO, that bow on the go in your body, okay, to be able to give you more power, because they want to use passive RFIDs. You see, you got two different types of RFIDs. The passive one is one that is not required with a battery, it's not needed with a battery. The other one, I forgot, I think it's called non-passive, is basically an RFID ran through batteries, So the semiconductors that are in the RFID are almost like your neurotransmitters in your brain, and they connect to each other, you see, and then you having that bow on the go in your body, okay, through the yo jabba jabbas, that is what's gonna make you powered more than 100 hertz, because your body produces 100 hertz. That's not enough. They need more. So when they put that in you, all right, now you're just full blown working just how they need you to work to their system, to pick up all information, But that's pretty much the point on that. All right. So, hey, that's what's coming to this place, man. That's what's next. And I wouldn't doubt it, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And I'm also speaking as a man, okay, that digital ID, yeah, it's going to come to America, but it's not going to be long. It's only going to be in certain places, because the fear is already in the people's heads, you see? And they already got you brainwashed thinking that that's what the MARK is. So now it will be that much easier for them to present the actual MARK, because they already gradually put it in your mind that it's normal, all right? And you already have the fear instilled in you, and they're going to starve your ass, okay? and then you're gonna come begging to them. You see? So, hey, Lord willing, you were edified. So, with that being said, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Haloyim La Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Blessings and salutations to the hopeful elect that scattered abroad, the Akim and the Akwat that was listening in. Yahweh Ratazah, Lord willing that the lesson was edifying. To the next one, Shalom. Keep fighting the good fight of faith, enduring as good soldiers of Yahweh Shai. Shalom.